I'm sorry, but this restaurant wants you to die. Let's talk about that. Good!
Microphone on.
Now, we've all heard of the restaurant Heart Attack Grill. Hence its name. Apparently, you have a high chance of getting a heart attack. But did you know it's more than a heart attack that those at Heart Attack Grill want to happen to you? They want you to die. The Weird History Food channel just uploaded a video just a couple hours ago telling us, well, they want you to die. And I've never thought about going there, but why? And that's exactly what we're here to find out. I don't know. Maybe we should just jump into it.
In December of 2005, the world had a heart attack. A heart attack grill, that is. Known for a
Only in
quadruple stack of
2005?
unhealthy
Wow.
food, sensational marketing, and controversies upon controversies, the Heart Attack Grill may be one of the most infamous eateries ever opened. But how did we get here? Who's behind this? And was the restaurant always a recipe for disaster? Well, today we'll be taking a giant bite out of the Heart Attack Grill, the restaurant that wants you to die while eating
Ooh.
there. But before we settle in for the meal of a lifetime, consider subscribing to the Weird History Food channel. And let us
I know
know
the show that is tailored to basically the original idea of, this show, Good Mythical Morning, Last Meals. Heart Attack Grill really could be your last meal. No pun intended. Well, I laugh, but still.
comments what heart-stopping history you would like to hear about next. All right, foodies, let's hope one of you is trained in CPR. Self-proclaimed Dr. John Basso was a Jenny Craig franchisee who dedicated his professional life to helping people live healthier lifestyles through diet and exercise. However, Basso quickly became disillusioned with the fitness industry as he increasingly felt like he was selling impossible standards. The tipping point came when Basso received a letter informing him that a fast food burger chain was suing him over the name of his gyms, In-N-Out Workout Studios. And everyone watching this in California just said,
Yeah, brah. Duh. Also, their fries are trash.
After a short legal battle, Basso decided to shutter his gyms for good and move in a distinctly more delicious direction. As the soon-to-be restaurateur put it, instead of being a slimy, crooked, dishonest peddler of health and fitness services, I would actually launch a hamburger concept that would be absolutely honest. Thus, Heart Attack Grill was born in December of 2005. While its original Tempe, Arizona location was a humble affair with only 6 seats, the restaurant got supersized in 2011 when Basso moved his business to the land of excess. Vegas, baby. The food at Basso's restaurant is not for the faint of heart. After being inspired by stories of his past clients cheating on their diets, his goal was to create an eating establishment so offensively unhealthy that only the most adventurous of foodies would even dare step inside. And he certainly succeeded. So for those of us who aren't brave enough to risk catastrophic heart failure, what does a typical experience at Heart Attack Grill look like?
Good
Well,
question, I
the
don't
first
know.
thing to know is that Heart Attack Grill is themed like a hospital. Rather than being called a customer, all patrons are referred to as patients. And anyone over 350 pounds can eat for free, provided they get on an electronic cattle scale in front of the entire restaurant. You'll also have to adhere to a strict dress code, which consists of wearing a hospital gown over your clothes. If you feel like splurging, you can always pick up a carton of no-filter cigarettes and a candy pack for your children on the way to your table. Once seated, a waitress dressed in a skimpy nurse's outfit will fill your prescription rather than take your order, which is where the fun really begins.
Oh, wow.
Heart Attack Grill boasts a decadent menu of artery-clogging meals that are specifically designed to be hazardous to your health. This includes a selection of beer, Mexican Coca-Cola, milkshakes made from butterfat cream with a side of real butter, French fries that had been deep fried in pure lard, a half-pound chili dog, and the main event, the Bypass Burger. While bypass burgers can be prescribed as a standard single patty, the true star of the show is the octuple bypass burger. This 8-patty monstrosity contains 4 pounds of meat, 40 pieces of bacon, chili, and cheese. In case you're wondering, that adds up to about 19,900 calories. To
Wow.
put that into perspective, a McDonald's Big Mac has around 590 calories. So you'd have to eat 34 of them to get the bypass burger experience at your local Mickey D's. But can we get it with a side of butter? Those who fail to finish their meals at Heart Attack Grill are subject to, no joke, spankings, delivered with a paddle, courtesy of the so-called nursing staff. But if you are somehow able to clean your plate, you'll be treated to a free wheelchair ride out to your vehicle, where you will presumably sit in silence and think about all the decisions that led up to this moment. The octuple bypass burger will set an enterprising eater back about $24 and an unknown amount of years off their overall lifespan. In 2010, before Heart Attack Grill moved to Las Vegas, a man named Blair River assumed the role of the restaurant's spokesperson in a series of commercials. River quickly became a local celebrity, earning the nickname Gentle Giant, at 6 feet 8 inches tall and 575 pounds. Less than a year after becoming the face of Heart Attack Grill, River suffered a bout of pneumonia and passed away at just 29 years old. In an unfortunate case of history repeating itself, another unofficial Heart Attack Grill spokesperson would have their life cut short a few years later. John Allman had been a staunch supporter of Heart Attack Grill since its inception and reportedly visited the restaurant every day. He was such a dedicated presence that his likeness graced the menus and merchandise at the Las Vegas location. But in 2013, while waiting for the bus after his daily dose of bypass burger, Allman had a heart attack and collapsed. These are not the only cases of medical emergencies associated with the dubious restaurant, though thankfully none of the other instances have been fatal. In 2012, within 60 days, 2 separate people were hospitalized for medical issues that occurred mid-meal at Heart Attack Grill. The first incident occurred on February 11th, when a man suffered a heart attack while eating a triple bypass burger. This was originally thought to be a stunt planned by the restaurant, so other patrons were reportedly taking pictures and recording videos until emergency services arrived. The second incident, on April 21st, saw a woman fall unconscious while drinking, smoking, and eating a double bypass burger. In fairness, she was really going for the gold. Basso is fully aware of the possible consequences of eating at his restaurant and isn't shy about flaunting the results. After the death of John Allman, Basso was interviewed by Bloomberg TV and took full advantage of the tragedy that had occurred right outside his establishment. During the sensationalized segment, the restaurateur brought out a plastic bag filled with what he claimed to be the ashes of his deceased patron. Those supposed ashes remain above the bar in Heart Attack Grill to this day. During that same interview, Basso went so far as to say, "I'm probably the only restaurateur in the entire world who is unapologetically telling you that my food is bad for you, that it will kill you, and you should stay away from it." You can't get much clearer than that. After all, the restaurant's official slogan is, "A burger to die for." Allman's death prompted Washington, D.C.-based organization Officials for the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine to pen a letter to Basso, asking him to declare moral bankruptcy and shut down Heart Attack Grill. Of course, Basso didn't take this recommendation to heart. He's been running Heart Attack Grill for almost 2 decades and has been collecting new controversies every step of the way. As early as 2006, Basso found himself in legal trouble for using the word nurse at his restaurant and website. According to an Arizona statute, only someone with a valid nursing license can legally use the title, which Basso did not have, despite calling himself a doctor. This prompted Basso to stir up online support for his use of free speech, and ultimately culminated in the restaurateur threatening healthcare providers with a fire hose, for which he was promptly arrested. It is not clear what the specific charge was, but it is believed to be along the lines of acting like a cartoon character. Not even jail would dissuade Basso, though. He refused to stop using the word and instead added an asterisk beside it, providing a disclaimer that none of the women working at Heart Attack Grill could actually provide medical services. However, they can provide a paddling. Then, in 2011, When Basso first moved his headline-grabbing restaurant to Vegas, he also aimed to open a branch in Dallas, Texas. That attempt was swiftly thwarted as residents protested the restaurant relentlessly, and management fell behind on rent payments. It was forced to close only after a few months of operation and hasn't reopened since. More recently, Basso was caught up in a scandal involving a former employee and a sexual harassment lawsuit, which was settled out of court in 2020. Basso has been accused of sending an employee inappropriate texts,
horrible.
emails, and images, and allegedly showed up at the woman's house and described himself as a jealous psychopath, before threatening legal action if the employee spoke out about her treatment. Sounds like someone needs to reel him out to his vehicle. But the omnipresent controversy surrounding Basso and Heart Attack Grill will always be the restaurant itself. Medical professionals and average people alike have criticized Basso's flagrantly unhealthy restaurant for being amoral, irresponsible, and just plain gross. Whatever you may personally think of Basso and his bypass burgers, it can't be denied that Heart Attack Grill promotes unrealistic and unrecommended eating habits. It should be avoided at all costs if you value your heart and your health. And Basso is happy to tell you as much himself. And yet, after years of reveling in bad press, personal scandals, and making a spectacle of the demise of loyal customers, business is still going strong. Clearly, controversy is a winning strategy when it comes to marketing a restaurant like Heart Attack Grill. So, the only question left to ask is, are you ordering the single, quadruple, or octuple bypass burger?
Single.
And do you want a butterfat shake with that? So what do you think? Are you tempted to try your luck at the Heart Attack Grill? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from Weird History Food.